Yeah, I'm live. Uh, I'm trying to see if my um. Okay, so I'm trying to put something together so that we'll have a smooth class. Please let me know if you can hear me. You can just type something uh, in the message, and I will respond to it. So, are you? Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. So, I can see three persons already. Can you hear me? Just put a message in the message box and then I should be able to see. Yes, yes. So I see Olatomi Tibella. Olatomi Tibella is saying she can hear me. So I want to get more persons. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes, so that is Omomi Deborah. Deborah is assuring me that she can hear me. Can we have more persons and then we start up um, with the webinar this evening? So there are six other persons online. I want to be sure. Can you just drop your name on the message corner, just your name and where you're joining us from? So the ad I ran, brought people from Lagos, Port Harcourt. So just your name and where you are joining us from. Can we do that? Can we do that? Your name and where are you joining us from? Can you put your name on the, can you type your name? Your name, yes. Okay, so this is Wele Miriam Bolo Atife. She's from Lagos Island. Okay, so can we get that going? So feel free. Okay, yes. So member people are joining us. So let's fill up and then we start. We start. Yes. So just put in as soon as you get in, what you do for us is that you put in your name and then where you are chatting from. Okay, so I see Eunice Olatomi. I am from Lagos. I see Atianeshi Vera. She's from Calabar. Yes, there's Omomi Deborah, and she's from Ijesha Tedo. Please forgive me if I am welcome, and your presence is greatly appreciated. So yes, others who are yet, please just put in your name so we would know where your what's your name and then where you are joining or where you are sending in their names so I can see. Okay, yes. So let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming so that we can. Yeah, okay, there's Favor. There's Favor Ujunwa. She's from Anambra. Welcome, Favor. Welcome, Favor. Welcome, Favor. Welcome, Favor. Good to have you here. I want more persons to join so we can begin. We can begin. We can begin because what I have planned for us this evening is a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. So I was preparing my slides for this presentation. And okay, so I teach in the boarding school at present. The students came in and then I gave her my laptop to just go through because she writes poetry too. She writes poetry. We've worked too many times together with her pieces, and over time she has improved. So she came over to, okay, so yes, Adegoke Ibokunluwa just sent in a message, and that person is from Ife. So welcome, 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 Adegoke. Good to have you in the live. So while she was just going through my slides, I showed her something I prepared for all of us this evening, and she was blown. So I'll be showing that to us. The goal of this masterclass is to expose us to the secrets on how to write poetry. I know many of us, I looked through the form I asked you to fill, and I discovered that many of us were writing very interesting things. So I kept on reading to understand where you're coming from, your background, and to see how I can be of service to you. And many persons said they had issues with structure. Some persons said they had issues with um, so there was issue with structure, issue with inspiration. There was some said they wanted to monetize their skills. So many wonderful things I read. And I want to appreciate all of you again for doing your own bid to fill us up, to give me enough material to come present. So there is Godwin Ibrahim, and he's from Kogi State. Welcome, Godwin Ibrahim. Good to have you here. 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 The few minutes you'll be with me, I promise you, you are in good company. So if you can hear me, please, what we want is just put your name in the your name and where you're from, and then text it to the group. Like, let's meet you. Let's get to call you by your name. So when we see you tomorrow, when we see that name tomorrow, oh, remember that you were in that particular webinar and stuff. So, okay, quickly, as we are waiting for others to join us, can you just help us by putting what you intend to get out of this webinar? Can you just text that? Put that in. What do you intend to get out of this webinar? There's a good place in the Bible that talks about that our expectations shall not be cut short. So, please, what are your expectations for this webinar? What are your expectations for the webinar? I'm sure that not everybody filled that form. So, what are your expectations? What do you want to get out of the webinar? What's your expectation? Can you just text it? Just go to the message box and then click message, click message, and then just tell us, what do you intend to get out of this webinar? Why are you here? I know you're not burning your data for no reason. There's a reason that necessitated you to come, click the link, join the wait room, and then you are here on YouTube. So tell me, what do you want to take out of this webinar? Can you just text it? Can you text it? Can you text it? Can you text it? The 11 of us who are currently live with me, can you text it? Can you text it? What do you want to get out of this webinar? What do you want to get out of this webinar? It can just be a sentence, please. Not anything too long. Just what do you want to get out of this webinar? What do you want to get out of this webinar? Just shoot a text and I will read out. Shoot a text, please. So what do you want to get out of this webinar? What do you want to achieve? I believe you are here for a particular, okay, a good result. Learn, implement what is being taught today and improve. Thank you, Miriam, for that wonderful feedback. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That means a lot to me. That means so much to me. Right, so let's keep going. What do you want to get out of this webinar today? Are you here to just fill up the numbers? Are you here to encourage me? What do you want to? Oh, to enhance my poetry. That is Vera Destiny. Vera Destiny. She said she's here to enhance our poetry. Thank you, Vera. Thank you. Who wants to add? Who wants to add? Who has something to say to us? What is the reason you are here tonight? To enhance your poetry, a good result, learn, implement what is being taught today and improve. So those are very, very good, very, very good. So please just text in. Let's hear from you. What do you want to? What do you intend to get from the webinar this evening? To enhance my knowledge. That's beautiful. Someone said knowledge is power. So when you know more, you do more, right? So that's PK, right? Said when you know more, you do more, and that's true. When you know better, you do better. So I promise you that okay, Bokun Adegoke. Basically, I've been curious about poetry and where the inspiration comes from since a child. Poetry has been beautiful to me, so I want to see myself doing it. Wow. So Favor Emmanuel from Akwa Ibom. Welcome, Favor Emmanuel. So we're currently in the comment section talking about the reason why we are here. And we are taking corrections from that place in the Bible that talks about our expectation not being cut short. So if you have an expectation, you can measure your results by your expectation. So yes, can you just put in 7:15 would start. We've waited enough. Can we have your yes? So Ujunwa Favor is telling me my expectation is to be able to put my thoughts down and to gain more inspiration. That's beautiful. Thank you, Ujunwa. I promise you, when I'm done with you in this webinar, this masterclass, you would write poetry like an ATM machine. You just spit poetry. That good. Right? So can we get more? Can we get more? Can we get more? What do you intend to get out of the webinar? And many persons have been talking to me, they've been telling me to enhance poetry, to enhance their knowledge, a good result. Ojuma just shoot a text now, shot a text. He said, my expectation is to be able to put my thoughts down and to gain more inspiration. To gain more inspiration. Right? And Ibukun told us that from her childhood, she has been into poetry, right? She has been fascinated with where inspiration comes from. So what we'll be doing in this webinar is that would unlock that place where it comes from and tap it so that we can get the virtue out of the grind. So yes, can you please talk to us? But the persons who are still hiding, they don't want to say something. Please talk to us, let us see you, let us know you, let's meet you. Right? This is another way to bond. It's another way for us to meet ourselves and then to get the best out of this experience this evening. Right? So who is talking to us? Who is talking to us? Who is talking to us? Yes. Omomi Deborah is telling me to improve on myself as a poet. To improve on myself as a poet. And I promise you that that is what would happen to you by the end of the webinar. So let us start. So my name is Eneye Lawal. I am a poet. I am a teacher. I am a corporate event compare. I began my journey in poetry. So welcome Solomon Opeyemi, please. Good to have you from Lagos. Good to have you. So I began my journey in poetry in the year 2018-ish. So what happened was I attended Kogi State University, now known as Prince Abubakar Aldo University, and I studied English and Literary Studies. I'm currently running a master's degree in literature in English, so I have a solid background in literature. So yes, Kayode Hope just joined. Welcome, Kayode Hope from Kogi State, right? So I have a solid background in if you attended Kogi State University and you are here, just wave, just let us know, let me know, let us meet ourselves. So I attended Kogi State University. I'm currently running a master's degree in arts, National State University, KFI, studying literature and English, so solid background in writing. So I began my journey. Some of you had begun writing from way earlier than I did. So I began my journey in writing poetry. Faith Emmanuel just said to relearn, improve my poetry in every aspect and to gain more knowledge. So I began my journey in poetry in 2018, right? So I was not intending to be a poet, right? So I became a student of English and Literary Studies by accident, right? So what happened was I I wanted to study law and then I got Sharia law, so I did a change of course, and that brought me over to English and Literary Studies, right? So in 2018, there's this group in my department, right? It's an event that happens every fortnight, every 2 weeks, and it's called Night of Discourse and Literary Criticism, right? So what happens is poets from the department and from the school will come together. They will read their piece, to each other, one another, as the case may be. And after reading your piece, somebody will just give a review of your piece. So that's how it began. So you read your piece, somebody gives a review of the piece. At the end of the day, we now have a discussion. So that's how it was. So that day I attended this event, and poet after poet came in, they read their poems, and I was blown. I promised myself. So while they were performing their piece and others were criticizing their piece, I told myself that, what is the difference between myself and that person up there reading his poem? So that was the first day I wrote a poem. That was my first experience writing a poem. I took my pen and paper and I began writing. So I wrote my first poem in 2018, listening to my friends read their poem. And from that point, I started writing. I kept writing. I kept writing. It got to a point that whenever we had this event, I must perform my poem. Right. So I became so influential amongst them that when I was in 400 level in the university, I was made the leader of that particular program. Right. So I became the anchor of the ninth of discourse and literary criticism. And that was in 2019. So that's how my journey began. From that point, I continued writing. I released my first chapbook, my poetry book, in the year 2023. It's 2 years now. I'm currently working on my second, and the second is titled, it's not out yet, so it's titled uh, The Diary of a Male Teacher in a Girls' School. So I teach in a girls' school. So my experience so far, it's one book you want to experience. So let's get into what we have for the evening. So work in this webinar, I want to do three things. The first one is to help you identify what a poem is, right? Some of the times, the reason why we cannot write poems is because we do not know what a poem is. And because we do not know what a poem is, it affects our ability to write. Number two, I'll show you, right? I'll help you discover how to turn your average thought into fine poetry. So the first thing I want to do for you this evening is that for giving me your time, your attention, what I want to give to you is I want to show you how to identify a poem, what a poem is, so that when you write a poem, if you do not know what you are looking for, when you get it, you don't know you've gotten it, right? So I want to show you what a poem is, one. Number two, I want to show you how to turn your average thought into fine poetry, right? How do you turn your average thought into fine poetry? And lastly, I want to show you ways that you can earn as a poet, because some of the times it does not end with just writing. You can make money writing poems. And I'm talking to you from experience. I've made money writing poems, right? I've made money, right? Some of the different areas I'll be showing you how to make poems from, make money from. I've made money from them. Not all, but some of them, right? So I'll be showing you those ideas where you can look at with your poetry and then make money. So it's not just beautiful writing poems. It's also important that you can make something out of your writing. Are we together? Are we together? So yes, so that's what I intend to do today. So before we begin with what I have, I want to ask one question. What is poetry? Can you text in the message corner, right? So just send a message. What do you think poetry is? I want to read. What do you think poetry is? Because definition is powerful. When you can define a thing properly, what happens is you control that thing. So defining properly is a step in the right direction. So if you can define a thing, you can own it. So what do you think poetry is? Many people have defined poetry in the past. Let me bring some persons. One of the persons who defined poetry is William Wordsworth. He defines poetry as the spontaneous overflow of powerful emotions recollected in tranquility. Remember, I told you to bring your pen, right? So you'll be taking notes as we go. So it's the spontaneous overflow of powerful emotion recollected in tranquility. I'll come back to this definition. Don't forget it. Another person who defined poetry is Williams Wordsworth, right? He defines poetry again as man meaning to man, right? W.H. Yeats, right, defines poetry as not what is said, but how it is said, right? So these are definitions that have gone on for many years. People trying to give their own meaning to what poetry is, right? So I'll be giving you a definition that will help you unlock and see poetry from a different perspective. I've held many of these webinars where I talk to people about poetry, And one of the things I've discovered is that because they don't understand what poetry is, it affects their performance, it affects their writing, it affects what they come up with. So if you understand poetry better, what will happen is that your writing would improve. So your writing would show how much of poetry you know. Do you get how that goes? So what is poetry? Okay, so this is my definition of poetry. Poetry is a way of introducing readers to old or known experiences with new or foreign language that forces the readers to think, laugh, sympathize, and cry. A poem should move the readers. Let me read that again. Poetry is a way of introducing readers to old or known experiences with new or foreign language that forces the readers to think, laugh, sympathize, or cry. A poem should move the reader. So this is my definition of poetry, and this is the definition we'll be using for this webinar. You said poetry is a way of it. When you're writing a poem, what you are doing in that hour is that you are introducing readers, right? So this is not a spoken word masterclass; it's a poetry masterclass, right? Even though they are neighbors, right? So poetry is a way of introducing readers to old or known experiences. So when you write a poem, what you are doing is that you are introducing readers to old or known experiences. Let me explain that. See, there are no new experiences anywhere. There are no new, no matter if it, there are no new experiences. The good book says what has been is what will be. There is nothing new under the sun. So newness does not exist. The human experience has gone for so long, and so there is nothing new under the sun. That's where I'm getting at, right? So whatever has been is what will be. That's it. So what we do in poetry is that we are introducing readers to experiences they know. Heartbreak is not a new experience. Are you following me? Heartbreak is not a new experience. Was it corruption is not a new experience. Exploitation is not a new experience, right? Please, you can help me put down the themes. What we usually write about when we write. You know, all of those experiences you are trying to express, they are not new. They are known. We are used to them. We've experienced them one way or another in the past, right? So there are no new experiences. Whenever we write a poem, what we are doing is that we are introducing, don't forget this, we're introducing readers to old or known experiences. But the difference now is that the language that you communicate the message is what is new. Do you get it? So I want this definition to sink in, because if it sink in, it will be easy to now write poems. Right? So when you're writing a poem, you are not writing anything new, my friends. You're not writing anything new. What you are doing is you are introducing readers to old or known experiences. But the difference now is that when you're doing that, you are exposing them to this experience. Send some. Let me know you are following me. You are picking what I'm dropping. So let me see a hi. Let me see a love emoji. Let me see something from you. Just show me that we are on the same wavelength. Can you do that for me? I want to ensure that I'm taking you on this journey, and I am not here alone. Not be only me wakako. So yeah, I want to be sure that not be only me wakako. So yes, yes. Okay. So Olatomi, Tibella. Yeah. Thank you. So thank you. Can we have more? Can we have more? I want to be sure that what I am dropping, you're picking. Oh, Omomi is there with me. Thank you. Kayode is thank you. I needed to say all of this to be sure that what I'm dropping, you are all picking. So let's continue. So I said that if you understand this definition, we can close the webinar. If this definition can just sink in, right? So it took me time to come around this definition. If you can just sink in, I'm done with the webinar, right? We can just call it quits and say we're not doing it again, we are moving, right? So say, Miriam is saying poetry is a form of literature that uses symbolic language to evoke ideas, emotions, etc. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I want to know what you think about poetry. But this is the definition we'll be using for the webinar. So poetry is a way of introducing readers to old or known experiences with new or foreign language. The key in writing poems, my friends, is that your language, that's just it. Right? The difference between one poet from another poet is the language they use, nothing else. Right? And we are saying that what's the difference is the language. What's the difference between poet A and poet B is language, right? Experiences are the same. Heartbreak is the same. All of us don't chop breakfasts, at a point in time. So Favor just said poetry is a form of literary expression that uses rhythmic and often condensed language to convey emotions, ideas, or stories. Thank you. Thank you, Joan. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for that addition to our collective bliss, right? So poetry is please put this. If you can screenshot the chat, I would appreciate, right? If you can screenshot this, I would appreciate it. I would appreciate it, right? Okay, so that's that. Okay, so let me get these persons. Ojunwa Favor. Poetry is a form of literary. I think you can all see that. That's Ojunwa. That's our own definition of it. Right? So Miriam said it's a form of literature that uses symbolic language to evoke ideas, emotions. Powerful. These are powerful and with great minds and in good company. So keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming, right? So we said poetry is a way of introducing readers to old. Please put that in your book. I capitalized it for a particular reason, right? That forces the readers to think, laugh, sympathize, and cry. A poem should move the readers. A poem should do something. A poem should move the readers, right? So let's keep going. Okay, let me get this out of the way. Some people have been trying to say, why is it putting all this for free? At the end of this webinar, I'll be throwing an offer, and the offer is to an opportunity that would help you to improve as a writer, right? So this is such opportunities that I want to leave with you at the end of this webinar, so you can just go through it, right? So offer one is 5,000 naira. I'll be giving you 2 ebooks if you pay, Companion to Writing Poetry, and another ebook, Write That Poem. Offer 2, I'll be giving you 2 ebooks, Companion to Writing Poetry and Write That Poem, 2 ebooks, and I'll be taking you on the 15-day poetry challenge. One of the ways that I became the poet I am today is because I engaged myself in challenges. One time I wrote poems for 100 days. That did massive to my writing abilities, right? So I'm taking you on a challenge. In that challenge, what I'll be doing for you is that I'll be giving you daily prompts, daily prompts in the challenge, one, and also I would be reviewing. So after you write the poem, I would give you recommendations. I would give you ideas. The third offer is I'll be giving you 2 ebooks. I'll be giving you my chapbook, June Tunes. I'll be taking you on the 15 days poetry challenge. And lastly, what I'll be doing is that at the end of the writing challenge, I will put the poems together and I'll give you ebook resale rights. So I just need to put that before you. And so this is just, so at the end of this webinar, I will come back to this. I just want you to see it, right? So it's an opportunity for you to improve, right? And I expect that we would all jump. So let's go back to our discussion. So we said now, there are no new or unknown experiences. Are you with me? Are you with me, please? Are you with me? I want to be sure that you're with me. There are no new or unknown experiences. There are only new language, right? So earlier on, we had said that poetry is a way of introducing readers to old or known experiences with new or foreign language, right? So we are now saying that there are no new or known experiences. It does not exist. It does not exist, right? No new. What we have is what now? New language, right? We have new language. What we have is new language, right? So what is new language? Remember we said that there are no okay, civilization, right? So to write poetry, write poem about civilization, about modernity. So we said there are no new or there are no new experiences, right? So what is new language? As we are going on, you can just screenshot, so you don't lose what we are dropping down. So this refers to words, phrases, sentences that your readers are not used to or have not heard before, particularly the way you use it. So what is new language? The new language refers now to what now? Words. Don't forget that. Phrases. Don't forget that. Sentences that your readers are not used to or have not heard before, particularly the way you use it. See, one thing I promise you is that in this webinar, I'm not talking about figures of speech, right? So I dealt with that in my ebook, whether companion to writing poetry or write that poem. So I dealt with that, right? So, and there, I interviewed somebody on IG. If you're on Instagram, go check me up, right? So my IG handle is at lawal_eneye. Check me out. So I interviewed based in America. His name is Neil Trivedi, and he told me that right, he was not taught writing, but his poems are so beautiful that reviewing it, right, it improved my writing. So there were no, he said he never had any. So all of these things we boast about, metaphor, Baba doesn't know it, but it did not affect what he can produce. So what I'm saying is that you don't need to know, you don't need to, when we restrict us, when I sit down to write, and if you've checked my Facebook page, Poetry for Naya, you will know that, yes, I know something about poetry. When I write, I'm not thinking about figures of speech. One of the reasons why people write poorly, particularly write poetry poorly, is because when they are writing, they are thinking about figures of speech. I don't think about figures of speech. I'm thinking, how do I introduce my readers to an experience they are used to in a new language? That's what I do, right? And as I do that, what happens in the process is that I end up writing poetry. So I think I'm helping somebody now. When you're writing poetry, don't be thinking simile, metaphor, hyperbole, poem. Don't be thinking all of that. That's good, but don't be thinking that when you are doing your stuff, right? What should you be thinking about? Be thinking about how do you introduce your readers to an experience they are used to. What makes poetry hit, right, is that your readers can relate to what you are sharing, right? So if you're just joining us, please tell us your name and where you're joining us from. So what makes poetry powerful is your readers can relate to what you are dropping, but they are awed by the language you use. Refers to words, phrases, and sentences that your readers are not used to or have not heard before, particularly the way you use it. Are you with me? Are you with me? I want to be sure that you are with me. So what is foreign language? This refers to words and phrases that is not used in the subject you are writing about. Are you following me? I want to be sure you're following me. Just tell me in the comment section that I am following you, like right on or something like that. Go on, preacher. Let me know that I'm really dropping stuff that you're picking, right? So I said poetry refers to. I want to be sure that what I'm dropping, you are picking, right? So I said poetry. Let me go back to that. Oh, Amina, thank you, Amina, thank you. You're encouraging me this evening, right? So I'll keep going. Amina said I should keep going, right? So poetry is a way of introducing readers to old. Please don't forget this definition, right? Just stay here. Screenshot this definition, please, and anywhere you post it, make sure my name is there. So poetry is a way of introducing readers to old or known experiences with new or foreign language. Never think. So we have national animated channel. Wonderful. So I'm global. So never think figures of speech when you're writing poetry. Think new language. How do I share this thing I want to share in new language? Right? How do I share what I'm about to share in new language? So we now said, what is foreign language? This refers to words and phrases that is not used in the subject you are writing about. What differentiates poets from those who write poems is how they see language, my friends. The difference between poet 1 and poet 2 is basically how they see language. If your approach to language is fantastic, it will impact on your writing. So I want to help you by not focusing on figures of speech. That's a bad way of learning poetry, right? If you've paid anybody to teach you poetry and they're teaching you figures of speech, they're not doing any good. Some of the best writers that we have, some of the amazing writers we have at present, the writers who most of them do not have training in literature. They're not familiar with all of these things we call imagery. No. They just want to introduce readers to experiences that the readers know or have even had. If you've shared your poems before, have you noticed that when you share a poem that the readers can relate to, you see them comment to your comment section? So I one of the things I do is when I write a poem, I share my poem. You know, somebody said I was reading the form, the responses you dropped in the form that I shared. I know some persons were saying that they have problems with sharing their poem, right? So one of the reasons why you fear sharing your poem is because you fear that if you share the poem, they will steal it. This is how I respond to that. If you are afraid that you share your work and they will steal it, that's work. That's not your work. You stole that poem. Because if you write a a banger today, what tells you cannot and they steal it? What tells you that you can write another one tomorrow? See, this thing is infinite. One time I did 100 days poetry challenge in April last year. If you go to my TikTok or you go to um, my IG handle, you'll see I did a challenge in and see challenges help you. When you write for long, when you stretch your creativity for long, what happens is that it does not you keep flowing. So I did 100 days poetry challenge right after reading a book titled Poetry, sorry, titled Mastery by Robert Greene. I read that book, and after I read that book, I started 100 days poetry challenge. I finished it. I began, I ended 100 days, right? So that challenge stretched me. Do you get? So, but let's come back. Let's come back. So I'll give you an opportunity to do a supervised challenge. So what differentiates poets from those who write? So look at who writes poems is how they see language. If you can see that, that's a poem. You know, I was not thinking of poem when I wrote this. It just came at me. So, if you understand how language works, your poetry would skyrocket. Don't think, don't think because of speech. Think, how do you introduce? So when you're writing a poem, when you want to write a poem, I'll show you the two ways that we write poems in this webinar. All right, so you are locked in for value. If at the end of this webinar, your view of poetry does not change, I wasted your time. Please let me know. Just come to my DM and then let me know. I owe you an apology because I don't have a track record of bringing people together and then wasting their time, right? So what differentiates poets from those who write poems is how they see language. Let's go. Language is man's way. So what is language? Language is man's way of naming the things that exist in its reality. Language is man's way of naming the things that exist in his reality. Language, let me say it again, is man's way of naming the things that exist in its reality. And reality is not static, reality changes. There's nothing like, see, objective reality is fake. I'm saying that reality changes. So what man does is man names the things in his reality. Sorry, my voice is high. When I talk poetry, I'm usually agitated, right? So language is man's way of naming the things that exist in his reality. Poetry, on the other hand, is man's way of rearranging language to explain his reality. So when you are writing a poem, what you are doing is you are rearranging language. Language is man's initiative, right? Language is man's way of expressing his of expressing his reality. when we use language, what we do is that we are trying to we are we are explaining, we are communicating our reality. So language is man's way of naming the things that exist in its reality. Poetry, on the other hand, is man's way of rearranging language to explain his reality. So when the poet writes, what he does is that he twists language and makes language do the things that he wants it to do. When the poet writes, what the poet does is that a poet rearranges language to explain his reality. So when you write poems, what you are doing in that hour is that you are rearranging your reality, you are reordering, you are regrouping, you are changing, you are substituting. Are you following me? Are you with me? Right? So yes, so this is I wrote this poem yesterday while I was preparing this class. So who is a poet? I dare you to take a length. Sorry, I dare you to take your length and pair farther than scalpels can tread. Nothing will stare you in the face, and the more length you see, the less more you sip. See, poetry is not in genes, but see him in genes, weaving words into words that twist and turn, words that woos and boos. A poet is he who sees a word and can summon his kith and kin into a carnival that continues long after the dust had settled. Did you feel that? Let me go back again. Who is a poet? I dare you to take your length and pair farther than scalpels can tread. Nothing will stare you in the face, and the more length you see, the less more you sip. See, poetry is not in genes, but see him in genes, weaving words into words that twist and turn, words that woos and boos. A poet is he who sees a word and can summon his kith and kin into a carnival that continues long after the dust had settled. So I wrote this poem. I wrote this poem basically considering what a poet is. See, if this idea, this is just yesterday, I was just sitting together and this came up, right? So who is the poet? And this came out. If you see the date, it was yesterday's date, 10th of March 2025. So what I did was I fashioned this poem just trying to put the ideas together. So a poet is not something that is transmitted or transferred. What now? It's not transferred from gene to gene, not transferred from one person to another. Please, if you feel the poem, just in the comment section, just let me know. Just let me know. Let me know. Let me know. You can screenshot it and read it again. A good poem should be understood more than once. Do you get me? So if you look at, so who is the poet? So the point is it's not something you transfer from one gene to another gene. No, it's a way you see words. So the way you see words can impact your knowledge of poetry. Are you feeling me? Are you with me on this? Right? So screenshot this poem and look at it again. I'm sure it will blow your mind. Right? So while I wrote the poem, someone came to see me and I showed her the poem and her reaction was like, wow. I hope you had that experience. So this is who a poet is. All right? A poet is somebody who you cannot. A mom says she loves the poem. Oh, thank you. Right? So this is who a poet is. If you can do this, you are doing magic. Right? Okay, so let's keep going. Please don't forget what we said. We said, please let me go back to that slide. So that you can follow what I'm dropping. Right? I said poetry is a way of introducing readers to old or known experiences with new or foreign language. See, that thing I shared is not new. Right? That poem I just wrote down is not new. It's an old experience. People have written about poems for so long. But what I did is that I wrote the piece, but in new language. Look at the words now, right? So one thing with writing poems is that over time your language develops, your language matures. Wait, is it only Oma or me that loves my poem? Stop it now. Stop it. Don't be jealous. Right? So this is the idea, and I want you to screenshot this poem. It's like a roadmap to understanding poetry. So when I was writing this poem, let me give you a backstory. I was not thinking of figures of speech. That limits. I'm running a second degree in literature, so I know figures of speech. Do you get? And I've been teaching literature for. Amina said she fell in love with the piece. Oh, so I've been teaching literature since 2019. So I know figures of speech, right? I, let's not go there. But I discovered it's not what makes a better a writer. It's not what makes a good writer. What makes a good writer is how you see language. So there are 14 of us in this chat. Don't do this. Let's not be Omaomi and Amina. Come out. Come out. There's nothing wrong in saying your church mind. So let's keep going. Poetry can either come to you, it's lovely. Oh, thank you, Grace. So poetry can either come to you or you go to her. Right? So poetry is a female, right? It can either come to you or you go to her. There are two ways we write poetry. It's either the poetry comes to you or you go to her. Right? Okay, so there's another poem here. The title of this poem is I See You. Oh, the stability. Good to have you. Good to have you here. The title of this poem is I See You. It's from my book, June Tunes, and whoever is getting the third offer must get this book. It said, as I look out of the window, it is you that I see. You are not these lazy drops soaking the yawning soil. You are not the stagger of these drunk trees. You are not the roar of the thunder. I see the smile you wear when our eyes meet, more stunning than these dancing leaves. I hear the music of your laughter that drowns the patter of the rooftops. As I look out of the window, my palms itch to be lost in yours. And I wish that you are right here on this couch, close enough for my ears to sink in the embrace of your voice. As I look out of the window, it is you I see. That's another poem. And this poem, I got the poem, I wrote it's in my book, right? So it's poem 15 in my book, June. So I believe you can see the poem, right? So it's I See You. I was just sitting down and in my office and the idea came, right? So if you read the poem, you could see that it's a love poem, right? So if you, yeah, I Feel You by Oriata Orial Babo. I know him. I know him. It's actually a good one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not saying I feel you, but I see you, you know. I was just sitting down in the comfort of my. So I'm just trying to say that poetry is simple. I was not thinking of figures of speech. I was just trying to introduce my readers to an experience they know. Don't you know love? If you are in this stream and you don't know love, wave. We all have experienced love in one form or another. So what I was doing in this with this poem is basically to show you what I was feeling at the time. That as I look out of the window, I see you. Yes, poetry is a genre of writing used to. This is a good one. This is a good one, right? Narrate our feelings or events. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for bringing that up, right? So I'm showing my poems to just bring life to what I'm talking about. Uh, thank you, Amina. Amina came through. Amina said that she has seen the piece is familiar, right? It's a good one. Thank you, Amina. Thank you, Amina. Right, so let's keep going. I have a lot prepared for us today, right? What to do when it comes to you. So we said there are two ways that please let me know if you're getting value from what I've been dropping. Just let me know in the comment section. Just put something down. Let me know. Let me know. I want to be sure that I'm dropping value. So what do you do when poetry comes to you? Remember I've said that expunge the mindset of thinking figures of speech. See, there are so many figures of speech than they want you to know. When you write a poem, and after you write the poem, you're looking at what figures of speech have I used there? No, 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 no. Leave that one for critics, right? What you do when you write a poem, let me go back to that slide. Pardon me, pardon me, pardon me. Is poetry is a way of introducing readers to old or known experiences with new or foreign language that forces the readers to think, laugh, sympathize, and cry. A poem should move the reader. But what is more important is that you are introducing readers to old or known experiences. What kind of language are you using? new or foreign language. And we defined what new language is, and we defined what foreign language is. Are you following me? Are you feeling what I'm dropping this evening? So, what to do when it comes to, so what do you do when poetry? See, uh, Williams Wordsworth defines poetry as the spontaneous overflow of powerful emotions recollected in tranquility. What does that mean? It means that when you are sitting down, you are tranquil, you are you are in your flow zone, you are just at peace with yourself. There are times that thoughts flow through your mind. What's had that experience? Please let me know if you've had that experience and you are listening to me. You were just sitting down and you were just flowing. You were just flowing. Thoughts were just running through your mind. I believe I'm talking to writers here. You were just sitting down and thoughts were running through your mind. If you've had that experience before, please just let me know. Let me know. Let me know in the comment section. Right? You said he said poetry is a spontaneous overflow of what now? Powerful emotions recollected in tranquility. So what that means is that when you are at peace with yourself, at peace with nature, thought begins to run through your mind. Poetry comes calling. Poetry comes knocking. Right? So there are two ways poetry can come. It's either you can write poems, either poetry comes to you or you go to poetry. One of the ways that I just mentioned is that poetry, when you are at peace with yourself, poetry comes to you. And I'm sure, so the stability is telling me yes. So I believe it's responding to my question, right? Okay. Faith Emmanuel is telling me yes, that I think she's concurring too, that she has had experiences where poetry came to her. And it happens to us. Whether you are an expert writer or a newbie writer, there are those times you just sit down and this ideas rushes through your mind. It just comes your way, right? So what do you do when it comes? What you do when it comes is to write it down. There's a poem Olishinka wrote. It's titled "A Poem to My Lost Poems." Right? One of the things we're saying in that particular poem is that he lost them because he could not write them down. So one of the first things to do when poetry comes calling is that you should write it. Okay. The Omawumi Deborah is telling me yes, sir. So I believe, same here, sir. I believe that she is following. Yeah. So I'm seeing yes, Vera Destiny, same beautiful piece. I'm sure she just read one of the poems I dropped. Right. So the first thing you do, or the first thing you do when poetry comes calling, is that you write it down. Write it down. It can be a line. See, some of the best poems, some of the poems that have gone on to shake the world, some of the best poems are poems that came. It just came. A line just came, and what the poet now did is the poet built. Oh, National Limited Channel. Thank you. I'm glad that you are picking what I'm dropping. So, some of the best poems that have been written came as a word, right? It came as a word. It came as a word, or usually it comes as a phrase or a sentence. But what now happens after that is that it did not stop there. So the first thing you do when you have when poetry comes to you, and what remember we said poetry is a way of introducing readers to old or known experiences using what now? New language or foreign language. So what happens when it comes to you? Number one, write it down. It can be a line. See, I work with my phone, and I can be working, and what happens is that I can be working. Usually poetry comes to me when I'm busy, you know. So what happens is I just stop what I'm doing. I can be praying and then I get a line of poem. Sometimes I pause the prayer and then I write the poem. I write the line down. I pause. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. So if you continue praying when you get that kind of, there's some line that will just hit you and kai, you know that this one is God's way of just delivering you. from mediocre poetry. So it happens to me. What I do is I just quickly find something. So I have jotters everywhere in my house. Like I have so many jotters. One even got missing. I do not even know which one got missing. That's how bad it is. So what I do is I just write it down on my phone. I go to my note app, right? So I go to my note app and quickly type that line and I leave it there. So when I find time, I go back to it. I just keep staring. So the next thing is after writing down a line of poem, stare at the line, stare at the line, stare, look at it again and again, again and again. What now follows is flesh it up. So you can write it down and come back to it, that's fine. Or you can write it down and continue, just stare. Just be looking at that line. It will build. Some good poems come, some of the poems, if you check, go to Question of Enea and check my poems, some of those poems, they came from a line. I kid you not. They came from a line. The stability is talking to me. He said, you will know it is God giving inspiration. I'm telling you, so God give inspiration. Man. And it's inspiration loud. Gone. When that kind of inspiration hits you, it will just see. When you post that one, it forgets. It must, oh my loud. So be attentive. Be spiritual. Be spiritual meaning that be attentive. Sometimes it can be from a casual discussion. I was talking to a friend one time, and he said something. He said, a moving. I forgot. So somewhere along the discussion, he said something like, "A moving man will always meet luck. A moving man will always meet luck." See, from that line, I built a poem. From that line, I built a moving man will always meet luck. From that line, I built a poem. If you go to Instagram, my Lawal_Eneye, you'll see that poem. A moving man will always meet luck. It just came from just a casual discussion, and then I built a poem out of it. Are you getting what I'm dropping? So poems can come to you. Write it down, stay at it, flesh it up. Yeah, so Miriam is talking to me, said, what I do when I write a poem or a poem, I read to my own understand, and I also think about, if I was a reader, how does this resonate? Yeah, I think I feel you. I think we all do that. So the next thing I do is I share my poems. See, I am a cheerful giver. When you share your poems, what you are doing at that hour is that you are exposing your work to criticism. And there's nothing wrong with being criticized. There's nothing wrong with people telling your poem is not nice, right? So share your poems. Are you there? Share your poems. Write it down, stay at it, flesh it up. I'm now saying share your... okay, so yes, Amina is talking to me. She said, mostly these lines made up a good stanza. These lines mostly wake me up at midnight, and what I do is I write them down in my notepad because we can't sleep with the paper and pen. Yes. So, like me, I have paper and pen everywhere. But I also have my Android, right? So it has a notepad. I just go there and then there's some of my notes that are just one line. I've not even fleshed them up. It just hits me, right? And then I wrote the line and then I ran away. Right? So do what works for you. Always write down your ideas. It's a verse in the Bible that talks about, it says, write it. Please help me say Habakkuk. Write it on a table, that he that may see it may run. So somebody said that the faintest pen is sharper than the smartest mind. Because if you leave it in your mind, you will lose it. If you leave it in your mind, you will lose it. If you leave your poems in your head, you will lose it. What do? What I advise is that you would always write it down. Write it down. Stay at it. Flesh it up. See, there is no fast rule so the question is, how do I know my poem is ready? You know your poem is ready when you've said all you want to say in that poem. That is when you know your poem is ready. Until you've said everything you intend to say, your poem is not ready. So this is it now. I said, the last step is now share it. He said, sir, what about the fear of people stealing your poems? How do you put a copyright on your works? See, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, I believe you're familiar with her. She just released her book titled Dream Count, right? So I think the hard copy just came out a few days ago. Do you know that book has been pirated? I saw a friend of mine was telling me that she got the soft copy. Like she did not pay, she just got the soft copy. So they are sharing soft copies everywhere on the internet now. That book, because of its popularity, some publishers have started making a fake of that book. If you are afraid of your works getting stolen, you will not push anything out. Right? So this is how I think when I approach poetry. I'm a cheerful giver. I want you to steal my poems, basically, because if you steal my poems and but basically put my name, even though you don't put my name on the poem, even though you don't put my name on the poem, the fact that my piece is spreading gives me joy, because if I wrote a good one yesterday, I can write a good one today. So usually, the fear of not sharing your poem is what is keeping you mediocre. When you share your poem, you will come to a place where there's this if you're an IG, it's a lady called the Small Poet. That's her IG handle. Every day she reads her poems. And I think she has read 42 or 52 poems so far. Every day she reads a poem. She wrote the poem. She read one today. I listened to her and then it was very nice, you know. So don't be afraid to share your poem. The stability, right? When you share your poem, what you are doing is you are communicating to man. What defines poetry as man meaning to man. So don't be afraid to share your poem. Be vulnerable. Share it, right? Chimawanda's book, what's its name? Dream Count. Dream Count now has been pirated. The pirated copies. Dream Count has e-books flying everywhere. She's losing money because people are getting the book for free. But she knows all that will happen, but did not stop her from pushing the book out. When you have something good, push it out. Push it out. Share your work. Don't be afraid to do so. Right? So what to do when it does not come to you? So there are times where you do not have, there are times where it's not flowing, right? So what do? The national animated channel, I see you. Thank you. Thank you for following me. Thank you. Thank you for being with me on this journey. So there are times where, like I said, there are times where poetry does not come to you. So what do at those times? Write something you want to write about. So the point is, whether poetry is coming to you or it's not coming to you, write. Are you with me? Are you with me? Ojuma, thank you. You've been so helpful. Thank you. Thank you. I'm writing on. Right? So what do you do when a poem? There are times I've held my pen for as long as 2 hours, you know, and there's nothing. What do I do? What I do is that I write about my inability to write a poem. It's a poem too. So those times when I'm with my pen and I'm looking at I'm looking at my notes, or I'm holding my phone. I've been looking at the phone for about 2 hours and there's nothing coming. See, I write about my inability to write a poem. It's an inspiration too. And usually it flows. So I just pick the pen. I'm talking about love. And my well is dry. I've tried till it refuses to come. What I do is I now write about my inability to write about love. It's about my inability to write about love. And when I write that, in the process, I now write about love. Do you get how this? So, this writer's block is the fear. What writer's block refers to the fear of not writing good poetry. Don't be afraid. See, It is not all the poems that Wole Soyinka wrote that are mad. Uh-uh. Think about your favorite poets. Your favorite poet, all the poems that your favorite poets have written. Neo Shonari is my favorite. There's one line that busts my head. It says, sometimes we dive underground to touch the sky. Stability, thank you. Say, yes, sir. If the mountain does not come to you, go to the mountain. Yes. I think it's called from if Muhammad refused to go to the mountain. What happens when it's not coming to you? Yeah, so this is what you do now. Write something. I'm saying one of the things to write is write about your inability to write what you want to write. Did you get that? So write about your inability to write what you want to write about. It's a poem. I'll post it online. See, at the end of if you looked at the last slide I shared, they all end the same. Share it, share it, share it. That's your inability to write what you want to write. Write it. Do you get? Stare at it, flesh it up, and share it. You know when you are ready, when the poem has said everything you wanted to say. Let me say that again. You know when the poem is ready, when you have said everything you wanted to say. I'm not a fan of long poems. I write some long poems. I'm not a fan. Maybe I just write that. I'm not a fan, right? So what I do is, whenever I write and I am sure I have said what I am supposed to say, I am done. Are you catching what I'm dropping? Or let me know in the comment section. Are you catching what I'm dropping? Or this is not my audience. I should be talking to people in Harvard, in MIT. Let me know, please. Please help me out. Are you getting what I'm dropping? Or I should just go to London. Okay, so write something. I said write about. So write. In my book, Thou Shall Write. One of the things I dismantled is the idea of writer's block. It does not exist. There's nothing called writer's block. Okay, so okay. Oh, baby, that's my colleague's son. Yeah, good to have you. Good to have you here. 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 Omo Deborah also, yeah, she's been following. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. Yeah, baby. Yeah, yeah. Welcome on board. Yeah. So, what to do when see what to, poetry comes? You write poems in two ways. The first way is that you write a poem. It comes to you, right? So you're just maybe in the bathroom, and have you noticed that beautiful ideas comes in the bathroom? Have you noticed that the best ideas some of the best songs you've heard, they were gotten in the bathroom. The bathroom is a reservoir. It's a storeroom of mad ideas. That's where you get mad ideas from. Are you feeling me? So this is it. Write something. If you've gotten to a point where you're not writing, it's not flowing as it should flow. Write something about write about what you see. Write about what you want to write about that you cannot write about it. Stay at it, flesh it up, and share it. So I have another poem for you. The poem, I hope this StreamYard logo is not blocking it. The poem is titled, wait, let me be sure that the StreamYard logo is not blocking it. Let me be sure. Okay. Let me be sure that the StreamYard logo is not blocking what I am dropping. Okay. So it's blocking it, and there's nothing I can do about it. Please forgive me. The poem is titled Dear V. One may not boast of curves as eights, but it outweighs zero. One may not seem much if a stroke donning a beret is all that comes to mind when it stares at you. But one is not small, at least not with you. It's interesting how time fades as heart twines. Today we clocked one, but it feels longer. It feels like two lifetimes have gone by. It feels like our palms have cleaved to each other longer than it has. If one is this green, I wonder, one with you is bliss. Let me read that again. The poem is titled Dear V. The StreamYard logo is obstructing the view, but there's nothing I can do about it. Please forgive me. So it's titled Dear V. One may not boast of curves as eights, but it outweighs zero. One may not seem much if a stroke done in a beret is all that comes to mind when it stares at you. But one is not small, at least not with you. It's interesting how time fades as hearts twine. Today we clocked one, but it feels longer. It feels like two lifetimes have gone by. It feels like our palms have cleaved to each other longer than it has. If one is this green, I wonder, one with you is bliss. So that's a poem I wrote for somebody. Don't ask me who the person is, right? So I believe you can dig that poem, right? I've not shared this poem to anywhere. This is the first place I'm sharing this poem, except to the person who I wrote the poem for. Do you get right? So it's like an anniversary poem, and I just felt let me write something for this person, and the person pinned the poem to the charts, and it just stayed there. So, dear V, right? So it's easy. I've been while teaching. Please let me know if you feel the poem. If you feel the poem, please let me know. Like I said, it's titled Dear V. It's titled Dear V, and this is the poem. Let me know if you feel you can screenshot the poem. So you see, I've been sharing. See, I'm not only teaching you these stuffs, I am also showing you. Like I've shared 3 poems so far, and they're my poems, right? So I'm not afraid to share my poems with you. I'm not afraid if you copy this poem and share it to somebody you feel affectionate for. Yes. So if you thank you. I think thank you. Um, she just dropped something I love now. Vera Destiny says if your piece is stolen, it shows that it was good. So look at Grace. So Grace is Herrera. No. Calm down. Calm down. My people don't come. So yes, wait now. If this was sent to you, leave on. So dear V, right? One. So it's poetry. It just like I was just thinking, what do I one, and then a poem. I was not thinking about because of when I wrote this poem. Right? I was just flowing. The poem is deep. If the poem is not deep, I did not write it now. Abi? So, okay, let me try. One may not. So, okay, I'm not explaining poems in this particular. So, screenshot the poem and come to my DM. Let me explain it to you. I think that's what I can do, right? So, let me read that poem again. It's sweet anytime I read it. So, it's Dear V. One may not boast of curves as eights, but it outweighs zero. I may not seem much. One may not seem much if a stroke done in a beret is all that comes to mind when it stares at you. But one is not small, at least not with you. It's interesting how time fades as heart twines. Today, we clocked one, but it feels longer. It feels like two lifetimes have gone by. It feels like our palms have cleaved to each other longer than it has. If one is this green, I wonder, one with you is bliss. That's the poem. That's the poem. So it's an anniversary poem. And yeah, so I'm just trying to say that poems are easy. Let's continue. So, what are the exercises you need to do to improve your poems? You know, we're talking about how to write poems for a long while now. What are the exercises to do to improve your poems? See, if you go to Facebook, check NALR1, right? If you go back, like to 2017, 2018, when I began writing poetry, see, uh, 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 wait, where did this girl come from? Grace, calm down. Grace, calm down. Grace, calm down. Grace, calm down. So, um, if you go back, yeah, wait for overcomer. Say, child, this poem is hitting deep. Great. Thank you. Thank you. You must see it though. That poem has become what the poem give me. I beg. So write poems, it's good to make money. So I'll show you how to make money from your poems, and I'll show you things I've done to make money from writing poems, right? So I'll help you with that. But beyond making money with poems, which is very good, I was talking like I was talking to you. I okay. This poem is more like Ramakam by David Diop, and even I will pronounce your name. Yeah, yes. It's a love letter. Yeah. So you just got me. Ujunwa, you got me. You got me. Right. So Ujunwa, you got me on that. I see. You've got. See, look at my hand. I surrender. Yeah, it's getting more interesting. I know. Yeah, it's getting more interesting. So, exercises to improve your poetry. You can just screenshot all of those things I've shared. Right. Exercises to improve your poetry. Number one, read plenty poems. Right? Ujunwa is just demonstrating that she knows poetry because she has been talking about some of the poets she has read, right? And then I feel you, right? So, um, yes, I'll come to that. So, I said read plenty poems because I studied English and literary studies. What that did for me is that it exposed me to poetry. So I have read so many poems. I've read the video, those negritude guys. I've read Seda Senghor. I was even teaching somebody a poem today, and it is Leopold Seda Senghor's Black Woman. I was teaching that somebody that plenty and I don't restrict myself. There's a lady called Cher Wasson. She's Angola, Somalian. She wrote a poem titled Teaching My Mother How to Give Birth. It's a good one. Maybe I'll share it to the group if you're interested, right? It says, I do think we need to be master figures of speech. That's what blocks. See, that's not what is blocking from writing poems, right? That's what you think is blocking from writing poems. Pick what please let me know in the chat. Let me know. Give me something. Give me a boost. Let me know that you're picking what I am dropping tonight. Okay. So one of the ways to improve as a poet is to read plenty poems. It just goes without saying. If you read plenty poems, what it does is that it exposes you to how poetry ought to be written. So, oh, Mommy, thank you for bringing that to me. Your poem is nice, sir, but I notice it doesn't rhyme. Or does it not matter when I see? A poem does not need to rhyme. Do you get that? A poem does not need to rhyme. Rhyme scheme was a product of the classical era of poetry, the neoclassical era of poetry. Currently, if you look at contemporary poetry, it doesn't rhyme. Right? If you read contemporary poetry, it does not rhyme. Because check out now, nothing they rhyme again, like nothing stew, right? There's nothing to rhyme about. When a poem rhymes, what you are doing is that you're talking about, so there is a marriage between message and structure. If the message, if your message, if your not all poems needs to rhyme, right? So it's good to have rhyme scheme. But if your poem is twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Don't do that, please. Right? So there are times where you have to do that, but a poem must not rhyme. Rhyme is not an important function. Poetry is man meaning to man. See, from the modern era, I'm talking to people who know poetry at a deep level. From the modern era down to this point, writers have left rhyme. If you read people like W.H. Yeats, people like this guy that wrote The Journey of the Magi. I've forgotten the name, but if you can remember, please let me put it in the chat. If you read those poems, right, what you find out is that and that guy won a Nobel Prize in poetry, right, literature, was credit for his poems. His poems does not rhyme, so rhyming is not an important attribute of poetry. Do you understand? If it rhymes, fine, right? If it does not rhyme, fine. So yes, Gbemi just said, what if you don't understand the poem you're supposed to read? Okay, he's talking as a student now. What happens if you don't understand the poem you're about to read? I was taught in the university by a doctor, a PhD holder. He said, read a poem 3 times. Read a poem once, loud, twice, loud, and the 3rd time, read it quietly and begin to note the words unfamiliar to you. Check the word, look the word up in the dictionary. That's one of the ways to go about it. But when you read a poem, it will hit at you. If you read a poem more than a good poem should not be understood once. If I write a poem and the first time you read the poem, you understand the poem, I've done injustice. I did not think very well. So a good poem must cost you thinking. Yes, I think I agree with Overcomer. Sometimes rhymes can lead the message of the poem out. I would say rhyming is more fun. So so what I do is we call that sound devices, right? So rhyme. When your poem rhymes, you're adding sound. So I'm not ensure my poem rhymes at the end. It can rhyme at the middle, right? Like so let me go to that poem that I just read now. One of the poems I had read. Let me see if it's this one. No, not I see you. Let me see if it's this one. Okay, who's the poet? Look at. I dare you. Let me hide. So I dare you to take. I dare you to take your lens and peer farther than scalpels can tread. Nothing will stare you in the face, and the more lens you see, the less more you see. Do you see that? Do you see what I did there? You see that rhyme? The rhyme was internal rhyme. There are 3 types of rhymes. We have internal rhyme, we have end rhyme, and we have I rhyme. So look at, and the more length you see, the less more you see. Do you see how that rhymes? See, poetry is not in jeans, but see him in jeans, weaving words into worlds that twist and turn, words that woos and look at woos and boos. They rhyme, but it's not end. It does not have. Yes. So Anna just helped me out. A poet is he who sees a word and can summon his kith and kin into a carnival that continues long after the dust has settled. So A poem does not have to rhyme. If it rhymes, it's fine. If it does not rhyme, it's fine. Right? So rhyming is not a compulsory attribute of what's it called? Of poetry. Let's go back to the definition of poetry that I gave. Right? Poetry is a way, this is what a poem is. Poetry is a way of introducing readers to old or known experiences with new or foreign language. Finish. A rhyme is optional. When you write a poem, what you are doing is that you are introducing readers to old or known experiences with new or foreign language. We now said new language is what happens when you are creative. You are creating a word that does not exist. Foreign language is when you now bring a word from somewhere into another area. It's called, so screenshot this, you need it, right? So I took my time to explain because that's why I'm here. I'm here to serve you, right? To make you better, at looking at these stuffs. So now, so what are the exercises to improve your poetry? Number one, read plenty poems. Read plenty poems. Just go online. Just go online and then just search poems. You will see plenty. There's a particular site called poetryhunter.com. Go there. Just read. You will not be a better writer if you're not a better reader. Good readers make good writers. Good readers make better writers. If you read a lot, you can write well. So one of the things that you see with people who write a lot is that they read a lot. When you read, I tell people, when you read, right, you're not just internalizing the message. When you read, you are subsuming yourself, you are immersing yourself, you are wallowing in the language of the writer. And that makes all the difference. So lay your hands on poems and read poems. The more poems, see, and if you have a particular writer you like reading, what you notice is that as you read the writer often, you begin to write like that writer. It happens almost all the time. So read plenty poems. Number two, write poems. Write poems. Write poems. Whether it comes to you or you go to it, write poems. Are you feeling what I'm dropping? Let me know in the comment section. Write poems. See, I've not talked about figures of speech here. It's unnecessary. I'll not bring you here and tell you about figure of speech. You can go and Google that, right? And that'll help you. What I'm teaching you, you cannot Google it anywhere, right? Write poems and see, I'll give some of you the opportunity to do that with me. In 2019, I began a poetry challenge. I wrote 100 poems in 100 days. So after reading Mastery by Robert Greene, I came online and I told everybody that cared to listen. I said, in the next 100 days, I'll be writing poems and sharing them every day. 100. See, I started day 1, day 2, day 50, day 70, day 99, day 100. I stopped at the 100th day of that writing exercise. What that did to me, I was trying to find my voice. What that did to me is it stretched me. So every day I was thinking a poem. What am I writing the next day? And what that did for me was that a poem was, the times I write like 5 poems in a day, so that the days I'm having issues, I can use those ones. So, but for the 100 days I said I write poems, I was posting on Facebook, posting on WhatsApp, posting on everywhere I had people. Right? So when I post like that, what happens is when I write a poem, I post, I get feedback. Someone hits me and say, Baba, this poem is not poem, or something. So, this poem is not poeming, Some people just tell me that this thing I'm trying to do, I'm not doing it well. I don't feel bad. Do you get? I just take feedback and I move. So get feedback from your poem. One of the signs that you are improving is that you are getting feedback from the poem. Get feedback. Don't play with feedback. Number one, read plenty poems. Number two, write poems. And when you write poems, don't be bothered about rhyme. Poetry is man meaning to man. Poetry is a way of introducing readers to known experiences using new or foreign language. That should be the definition in your head. Forget figures of speech. It will limit you, it will affect you, it will hold you back. You're not checking, okay, does not have metaphor, does not have simile, so it's not a good poem. Who told you that? Check some poems, no simile, no metaphors. There are other figures of speech that you do not know that are in the poem. In poetry, what you are doing is you are communicating at a deep level. If you can get that done, my friend, you're writing a poem. So I'm helping somebody now, I can feel it. Don't restrict yourself to figures of speech. Just communicate. Mean to man. It's man meaning to man. Mean. Communicate. Are we together now? Number 3, I said get feedback from your poem. Number 4, undertake long supervised writing challenges. One of the best ways to improve as a writer is to go on. If you notice now on social media, either IG, TikTok, and WhatsApp, people are doing 100 days challenge. One of my friends is doing a 100 days hymn challenge. He's singing a different hymn every day for the next 100 days. I know somebody who is playing guitar and sharing his every day he goes on his guitar and then he plays, sings a song and posts. Many people are doing challenges. What challenges do is it will stretch you, and what stretching does is it shows you that you are elastic. Put yourself on that challenge and see what happens to you. Me, I did 100 days once. The highest I've done is 100 days. If you go to YouTube now and you check, you search Lawal Eneye. I dare you to do it. Go to YouTube, search Lawal Eneye. You will see an award I won for it, so it's verifiable. A particular group I was a member of, ANSA, they gave me an award for beginning and ending 100 days of writing poems. Just check. Go to Google. Maybe no, don't go now. After the live stream, go and check. Are you getting what I'm saying? Right. So undertake long supervised writing challenges. Are we together now? Let's move. Okay, now. So let's do something now. If you've been following me all the while, please say something in the group chat. Let me know if you're following me. I've been talking for over 1 hour, almost 2 hours now. So yes, let me know if you've been following me so far. Just tell me I'm following you. I'm following you. And let me know, are you feeling me? Are you feeling what I've been dropping? Do you think what I've been dropping has been worth your time? Yes, so check. Do you think what I've been dropping has been worth your time? What's keeping you here? I'm waiting for your responses. Now, I want to know what I've been dropping so far. Have they been meaningful? Have you gotten value so far? Yes, Faith said I've been following you. I'm following you. Yeah, thank you, Faith. Thank you, Faith. Yeah, I noticed you've been responding. So yes, I want to have more persons talking to me. So what do you think so far? What do you think so far? What have you been thinking so far? What have you been thinking so far? Yay, Stability said I'm following you. Sir, hey, Stability, thank you. I've noticed. Can I get more persons? More persons. So you can, yes, Stability, yes. Stability, you're learning. I'm humble, thank you. Ujunwa, my learned colleague, says, I'm with you, sir. Grace Ukani said, Ukeni, pardon me. He says, totally worth it. Thank you. Because I made a boast. I said, I promise you, if you come on the live with me, I will share things you will not Google. Right? So I'm glad that I did not lie. You know, I'm a child of God, so I should not lie. So thank you for telling me it's worth it. I want to get to it. So we have quite some persons here. Let me know. I want to be sure that, yes, Overcomer. Thank you, Overcomer. I am following. Says, I am more than conqueror. Thank you. Says, I'm following. Thank you. And I appreciate your grace. Said, totally worth it. Thank you. So let's do a little exercise as we go to the next section. Choose a theme, write a 4-line stanza. It does not have to have a figure of speech. Share in the chat. So that's I'm doing an exercise now. So as you are listening to me, just come to the comment section, just write a 4-line stanza. It should not be long. It be okay. Write about your experience so far in the webinar. Just your experience so far in the, or just anything that comes to your mind. Just choose a theme, and then I'll be posting it. Oh, Wakuma said it's worth my time. Yes. So now, this is an exercise now. Just write. I joined Labor. It's what it's. I have gotten few solutions to problems I have had. Oh, this is it for me. Thank you. I joined Liz, but it's what it's. I have gotten few solutions to problems I have had before. Oh, thank you. It shows that yes, it's been worth it. So this is my exercise now. This is a practical. This is a classwork now. Choose a theme. Write a 4-line stanza. It does not have to have a figure of speech. Share it in the chat. I want to see the first person to do that. The first person to send me their poem gets a gift from me. Who will the first person be? The first person to send their poem gets a gift from me. So I'll give you a gift. Just come to my DM on WhatsApp and tell me I'm the person that came first. I'll share it. I'll show it to on my screen. The first person to write on any theme, it should be 4-line. Just type everything together. Don't break them so I can share them. Put it together and let me share. 4-line stanza. The first person gets a gift from me. It's a promise. And the gift will be worth your sacrifice. So don't be afraid to share your poem. Oh, Ujunwa said the energy is unmatched. Hey, I'm feeling like King Kong. Thank you. So now, choose a theme, write a 4-line stanza. It does not have to have a figure of speech. Don't be bothered. Don't. I want to break you loose from the spirit of figures of speech. The reason why people do not do so well in poetry, I've discovered, is that they are immersed in figures of speech that they lose the essence. Somebody that brought the idea of figures of speech. I hope you know. Somebody sat down and said, "This is simile, this is metaphor." In the beginning, it was not so. Do you get? So don't tie yourself to somebody's definition. Who told you a poem must have figures of speech? What is a poem? If you can communicate to me, you have done poetry. We are right. With all we've said so far, remember I said poetry is a way of introducing readers to known experiences using Amina won this one. It says, of the time spent and the memory shared, of the things learned and the responses gotten, this is all I can bundle of hope, a long-awaited journey that just arrived. Hey! Amina, this is a banger. See, just come to my WhatsApp and then please just tell me I'm the one. I have something for you. Thank you. This is a beautiful 4-line poem. Of the time spent and the memory shared, of the things learned and the response gotten. This is all I call bundle of hope, a long-awaited journey that just arrived. Hey, did you see? A long-awaited journey that just arrived. This is poetry, my dear. Okay. Stability. For my words are short, my mind is tall in thinking. When will my maker make me? When will my words hit loud? Oh yeah, now. Oh my loud. These people did not come to play here. Thank you, Stability. Please, let's keep it coming. Just put together a 4-line stanza and then share. Share, please. Share. Okay, so let's move. I'm sharing it. I hope you know many people get to see your poems, right? So, yes. Oh, Phil Emmanuel. She said, the silence that remains, a hollow echo of what's been, a space once filled with laughter's warmth. Oh yeah now. I have some bad guys here doing bad things. Thank you for this one, right? Let's keep them coming. Okay, favor. Okay, maybe okay. Yeah. This is titled My Feelings. She was a long way away from home. She was raw. Her metallic taste hit my tongue with no remorse. She left me open, bleeding for help. I sat with my feelings today and felt unnatural. Hey! See, I have some of the baddest guys in this chat. Thank you. Grace Okeni. But for this round of challenge, Amina is our winner. But please keep it coming. Share your ideas. You know, it's just raw, it's just flowing. You see, that poetry can come to you or you go to poems. You go to poetry. One of the ways for poetry to come to you is to be in the environment of poetry. Read poems. When you read poems, you get inspiration. But like I told a friend today, I said, whenever you see a line that hits you, don't use that line in your poem. Renovate the line and then use it. It's possible. Can we flow? Can we flow? Yes, some people are. Yes. So now, how do you make money as a poet? Let me share with you. Number one, self-publishing and selling poetry books. One of the best ways to make money as a poet is by self-publishing. Writing it, having a poetry book. I have a poetry book. My poetry book is titled June Tunes. You can go check it out on Seller. You can just go to Chrome and then just type June Tunes by N.A. Lawal. You see my book. So I wrote that book. I published the ebook. It was not self-published. I published with a publisher, right? It's based in Ibadan, Tigmore Publishing, and then it sent me publication, and then it sent me the work, right? So self-publishing is one of the ways to make money and I've made money. I sell my books today, right? And any events I go that is poetry oriented, I take my book along, and then I read my poem, and I sell the poem. So one time, I and my younger brother, we went to the Digital Museum. It's in Wuse 2, right? So we went for a poetry open night. So we spent all our monies going for that journey, and we were broke, right? So we got there. There was no hope of coming back home, but I took my books with me. So I got there, I read my poems. At the end of my performance, I took my book up and I said, I'm giving this book out, right? And people bought the book. So this is what I did, and I'm not encouraging you to do it. What I did was, I came online and I came to them, I said, I'm giving this book out to anybody who wants the book at any price they pay. That was a bold move, because I was sure of the place I was saying that. Somebody paid 5,000, someone paid 3,000, someone paid 2,000. The book is 1,000 naira, right? It's a chap book, not a big book. Right? Somebody paid 500 naira for the book, but so at the end of the day, I had enough to try. So one of the ways to make money as a poet is publishing your book. Put your poems together. And this is what I did. Let me share the secret with you. In the month of June 2023, I did a challenge. I said every day in June, I'll write a poem. So when I was done writing the poems, so I write a poem, I'll share the poem, write the poem, share the poem. At the end of June, I put all the poems together, gave it to my publisher. He put it in a book, and then I sold the book. I did a book launch. In my book launch, I had somebody who launched the book for 50,000 naira. Yeah. That's like 50 books paid in just one payment. So one of the ways to make money is publish. Don't be afraid. Poetry is not dying. But put your poems together, publish it. And with ebooks these days, you can self-publish. You can publish in Seller. You can put your book in Seller. You can put it in Amazon KD, and then you're selling your book. And that way is that you attend paid poetry performances, right? The people who they pay poets to. I've not had this experience, right? So they pay you to come perform your poems. You see people like IQ. IQ is a guy I follow a lot. He's an American poet, right? So he does poetry performances, and then he charges for it. You can also work with brands, and you're doing collaborative, creative storytelling. Also, you can do a poetry class, right? So what I'm teaching you for free, the people will do this and then they charge money. Do you get? So it's one of the another way to make money. Another way to make money with poetry is that you hold a paid class. I remember, I think that was in 20. I've forgotten the year now. I had a client. She paid me to personally coach her on how to write poems. Right? So we had sessions. It was a 2 weeks training scene, and then we worked for those 2 weeks together. We met thrice every week. At the end of 2 weeks, she was okay. Do you get? At the end of 2 weeks, she was okay. We had worked together. So my point is, you can teach people, you can mentor them, right? And then you get paid for it. You can design a course on Coursera or on Seller, and then you get paid for doing that. Let's say another way you can make money. Another way you can make money is by entering into virtual competitions. You see, there are so many in the. Please, after the training, don't leave the group. I will be sending um, competitions. So there are virtual competitions out there. Okay, so let me pause. Ujunwa just shared her poem with me. I will rise. That's the title. Through fire and storm, I stand my ground. A heart unbroken, a soul unbound. The night may whisper, the winds may cry, but I will rise. I will not die. Thank you. When I saw it, I was thinking, is this Still I Rise by Maya Angelou? But that poem hits beautifully. So I saw someone else again. Overcomer, numerous thoughts race in my mind like an athlete. When I saw that it was time for the anticipated webinar, will I get value for my time or will it be waste of time? Hey! Let me read that again. Numerous thoughts race in my mind like an athlete when I saw that it was time for the anticipated webinar. Will I get value for my time or will it be waste of time? That's powerful. Well, come on. Right? So you see rhetorical questions, right? That's poetry. Yes, I be quick. Yeah, some of our speaking events, she gets paid to go there and go and speak. Right? So you make money from that. Another way is there's this lady, Natasha, she's popular now after her team with Akpabio. Natasha Akpabio, right? We're all Nigerians in this life. So she became quite popular as a product. She has popular. So she does these writing competitions where she pays, she gives you a theme to write about or a picture to write about, and she gives as much as 20K. Some people give more than that. I'll be doing one soon, poetry competition soon. So just be in the know, and there's money to be won, right? So now you can get paid, you can make money doing poetry competitions. I've been paid, I've gotten paid for writing a poem in a competition like that, right? Another one is you can offer poetry as a service, right? You can write poems for people's birthdays. Do you understand? You can write poems for people's birthdays. Somebody has a birthday coming. If you see, the internet is crazy. You can sell anything on the internet. If you position yourself as a poet who sells his poem, you make money. I've had colleagues that met me and said, I want to write something sweet to my husband. Put a poem for me. And then I did it for them. I remember once I was contacted by a lady. She contacted me to help her write a poem for her birthday, and she paid me for the service. So there's money in it. Do you get? So, but it's branding, and it must be good, and you must share your work. So people can now come to you and say, okay, I have a birthday coming. Can you help me write a birthday poem for me? I have a wedding coming. Can you help me write a toast? So that ways we can make money as a writer. Are we together now? Okay. So Amaomi just sent a poem to my teacher whose breast is ugly. Amaomi, kilo day. Okay, let's read it. She said, when she walks into the classroom, all eyes stares, looking at her beauty, a crystal so clear. As a student, how often we love to see her, but her subject, God, I wish it wasn't her. Oh my God. When she walks into the classroom, all eyes stares, looking at her beauty, a crystal so clear. As a student, how often we love to see her, but her subject, God, I wish it wasn't her. I think she teaches mathematics. It's only mathematics teacher that have this kind of experience. So yeah, tell me, am I correct? Mommy, this is your teacher whose breast is ugly. This is mathematics. What do you tell me? Okay, Stability is asking me a question. Is there any freelance platform for making money? Yes. Um, Platforms like please give me a second. Fiverr, Fiverr and Upwork, right? Fiverr and Upwork are places where you can sell your work. So when you go to Fiverr, you go to Upwork, you would create a your account as a poet. And from Fiverr and Upwork, Fiverr is spelled Fiverr, Upwork is spelled Upwork. You can brand yourself there and then you get paid. But to say that is a just like for there are no places where if you write short, if you write novel and you write if you are good and you are good, what can happen is that people can people can come to you and ask for your poems and ask you to write poems for them. You know, they have a book they want to write poems for them. Do you get? And that thing you can do is you can collaborate with brands and businesses. I'm just showing you ways you can make money with your poetry, right? And these are all valid. Offer poetic storytelling for advertising campaigns. Work with greeting card companies, magazines, and publishers. See, Valentine's Day is usually a day to spread love. You can work with all those companies that create cards. You can even open your own, right? So these cards are not, you can buy the cards and then design your poem and print your poem on the card and sell. If you're a good poet, you make money doing so. If you are in school, that's even beautiful. You know, there are those times where they do all those if you're a Christian or a fellowship, there's all the brosis weekend. Brosis weekend, I remember. Brosis weekend, you know, where fellowship people, mama and papa, boys and girls, if you package yourself, put your corner as a poetry corner, people will come and patronize you and then get what you want from them. So these are the ways you can make money as a writer. But it begins by branding yourself online. There's no place where you just sit down, write your poem, you just post it there, they pay you money. It does not work anywhere. Nobody has that. It does not work anywhere. It does not work anywhere. But what happens is that you can make money from all of these means, competitions, offering your services, a freelance poet. You can make money from working with companies, greeting cards. You can make money from selling your book. And it must not be hard copy, it can be soft copy, right? You can make money from, yes, thank you. Thank you, Wakoma, thank you. Upwork and Fiverr, right? There are poets making money there. Like I talked about a guy called IQ, right? So let me type that in the chat. IQ. Check IQ out. You see that what IQ does is that IQ, and please, if you are in this chat, please help by subscribing to just subscribe, hit the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. Please help me do so. Just let me subscribe to the channel and then come back. I'll be grateful and hit because in what I do in nightlife is I teach a lot. You know, I put a lot of free content out there to help people become better. Right. So check what IQ does is IQ holds seminars. IQ, there are this workshop IQ does. IQ invites poets together, right? And no, these execs, these people who are into those multinationals, those people who make money at a big scale, he calls like a seminar for them and teaches them how to write poetry. What poetry does is poetry is a coping mechanism for people who have issues with mental health issues. Poetry is a way to pull out of that, you know. So these are the ways you can make money as a poet. So I'm not saying do all. You can do all. Nothing's wrong with that. But what I'm saying is look for one that works for you. You can offer your services as a coach. One of the ways I got my when I finished serving in when I finished my university program in 2019, like I said, I read English and Literary Studies. When I finished my program in 2019, I was from the university. I finished from Kogi State University, Angba. Now, Abubakar Audu University. So when I finished my program in the university, I had not gotten my results. I was waiting for results. A friend of mine now told me, because he was working in a school, I finished from that school and I wrote my work and in that school. So he told me, I should just come and I should write my CV and then come over to the school. They'll give me a job. So I wrote my CV, I went there. So during my interview stage, right, the person interviewing me asked me what other things I would bring to the school from employed. I told her that if I'm employed, I would ensure I'm a poet. I'm currently doing a 100 days poetry challenge at the time. I told her that if I am employed in the school, I would teach the students how to become good poets. And true to those words, I got the job. And you not believe it, I was paid the same amount of money people who had gone for service and gotten their certificates were being paid because of my additional skill of being a poet. And while I was there for like 1 year before I went to service, I raised poets. You know, people who write poetry today because of my influence. Right? And during my time in the school, we went for 2 competitions. We went for one competition where it was Danger Abdullahi's birthday. That was the former ANA president. And we came second. Another time we went for a competition, we came first. And we're giving cash prizes and we're giving books. Do you understand? So you can make money, you can make money from that point. Um, okay, so I believe so far in the webinar, you've gotten value. Please let me know, have you gotten value so far? Let me know, let me know. Have you gotten value so far in the webinar? Just share something with me. Have you gotten value so far in the webinar? It's been 1 hour 56 minutes. Woo, that's a long one. So have you gotten value so far? Let me know. Have you gotten value? Hit me, hit me. Have you gotten value? Have I helped you? Have I helped you tonight? Have I helped you? Let me know. Let me know. Have I helped you? Okay. So I'm seeing a poem by Jolalua. Jola Olua said, "They say time flies, but I am the pilot of mine. Passing by, I saw a webinar, decided to land, only to take off with value. What a time well spent." Hey, wait, let me screenshot this one. Let me screenshot it. Yo, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It gives me great joy that you got value. Do you agree with Jola that you got value tonight? Please let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Did you get value tonight? So they say time flies, but I am the pilot of mine. Passing by, I saw a webinar, started to land, only to take off with value. Hey, Jola, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. This means a lot to me. Have you gotten value so far, guys? Please let me know. Yes, I have, but too bad my phone is about to shut down. Oh, Faith, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm about rounding up. Right, so let me know, guys. Have you gotten value? Hey, Solomon Opeyemi, this is the first time I'm seeing you here. Thank you. Said he got value. There is Jolalua. Jola said yes, sir, he got value. Thank you, and thanks for your poem. It means a lot to me, right? So, do you have any question? Do you have any question? I want to take questions now. Let me take a few questions. Do you have any question? Any question I've not? Because I tried to in my presentation, work with what you gave me in the survey. So, do you have any question I have not attended to? Is there any question that you have I have not attended to? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Oh, Overcome said I am getting value. Let me screenshot this one. Yes, I am getting value. Thank you. So yes, please, any question? I want to take some questions before I round off. I don't know, assume that I've answered all your questions, right? So what questions do you have? Okay. Oh, yes, because apparently I noticed. Yeah. Oh, see, clap for me. Me. Say yes, sir. It's mathematics. You see. Clap for me. Clap for me. My head did there. Thank you. I just it's only mathematics teacher that we dread. See the complete lady. Crystal clear and everything. She's not. So I need some mathematics, and I just guessed it. Oh. Wow, 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 wow. The life of me. Life of me said I'm getting value. Thank you. Do you have any question? Any question I want to attend to? I want us to end this live in the next 10 minutes. At least at the next 10 minutes, you should be done. Right? So, any question? Any question? Do you have a question you want me to attend to? Just shoot it now. I want to respond to your question. I want to respond to your question. Is there any question you want me to respond to? Vakoma, Omaomi, Solomon, Jola. Yes, Fave. Do you have any question you want me to attend to? Or are you telling, have I answered all your questions? Okay. In the hallowed walls of learning, I perceived. Jola, sorry, Jola. Okay, Anjola Olua. Okay. Oh, sorry. Mabino. In the hallowed walls of learning, I perceive poetry. What a sweet scent, and its taste is out of the world, and I recommend it to you all. Thank you. See, Ami now. Say, when next do we have the class? Because I feel like this lecture is personally for me. Amina, really, really. You want us to continue? I haven't gotten enough. Amina, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I've caught enough soap. Oh yeah, so yes, any question, any question. Amina, thank you. So please send me a DM after this live. I have a gift. Remember I said I have a gift for you for being the first person to put that poem. Right? So thank you. Thank you. So any question, any question, any question, any question, any question. Just send it as a message. I will do well to pick it up. And yes. Okay. Sir, is it wrong to use exclamation words in poems? No. So a poem is written in lines and stanza, right? Lines and stanza. So a line is what you call a sentence. A stanza is what you call a paragraph in poetry. The same way you write your sentence is the way you write your sentence in, like I tell people, poetic license does not cover syntax, it covers semantics. What do I mean? You cannot write nonsense and say because it's poetry, it is covered. No, it's not acceptable. What it covers is semantics. You can change the meaning of your words, but you cannot change it. Must follow this. It must follow the sentence pattern SVO, sentence verb object. So you can use comma, you can use quotation marks. In my book, Companion to Writing Poetry, I talked about use of quotation marks. So it's helpful, right? If you get the book, it would help you, right? But you can use comma, all the quotation marks you use for your sentences, you can use it for your poems. So you can use exclamation marks. Yes, Ojunwa, thank you. Ojunwa has been my co-teacher. You can even code mix in poems. So I don't think, yes, you can code mix. You can use a different language. You can use a different language, right? You can change. You can use a different language from. You can. Like in my like anybody who's getting the third offer, I'll talk about it later. You get my book June Tunes. In June Tunes, a student met me. I teach in a girls' school, so it's a student secondary school. I teach in English. A student met me and she told me that Mr. Lawa, that she has been meaning to talk to me. She had access to my book, the hard copy, right? June Tunes, and she said she liked the poem. That there's one particular one particular poem she likes in that collection is Na Grace. So she likes that one. She likes Na Grace. That the thing really speaks to her, right? And particularly the last line of Na Grace. When you get the book, you know what the last line is. So in Na Grace, what I did was I wrote the poem in pidgin English. So you can code mix, right? That's why I said read plenty poems. It helps you. Okay, so someone I saw a mess. I saw someone saying something like, "I have answered that question." I think that's all. So I have an opportunity for you that will greatly affect how well you write poetry, right? I want to share that opportunity with you. Like I said, one of the ways that helped my poetry. Some of you saw the poems I shared. They're my poems, right? That helped my poetry is my challenge, right? I do right. The time I just wake up and I say to myself, I'm doing 30 days challenge. I'm writing poems for the next 30 days. In April last year, me I did April reels. If you go to Instagram, check me out. Lawal underscore Eneye. I did all the working days in April. I read my poems and shared on TikTok and on IG. They are still there, right? So it helps me. One time in 2019, like I said, I did 100 days. That was my first time. I did 100 days poetry. I liked poems. What poems did for me was poetry was a way for me to, because I'm a deep person. So poetry was a way for me to express myself, and like I'm very vulnerable. So poetry was a way for me to be vulnerable in a healthy way, right? So that when I share my poems, only people who can understand, who can relate to the poem, understands the poem, and so it helps me cut my readership. Do you understand? So it helped me a great deal, right? So I recommend that. I recommend long writing challenges. If you want to improve in your poems, do long challenges. And I recommend that it should be supervised. Do supervised challenges. What do I mean? I mean that the challenges you should do, have somebody who can give you feedback, gives you comments. One of the ways I grew to what I am today is that I had somebody who was helping me, giving me feedback. Right. So I want to do the same for you. So I have an opportunity for you that will greatly affect how well you write poems. You remember earlier in a presentation, I told you, that at the end of the class, I'll be giving you an offer. Remember this? I showed you this. I said I'll be throwing an offer to you, an opportunity for you, right? So um, Vakoma is saying that if we can have another class, right? So this is what I want to do that for you, but it will not be free, right? So I have three offers for you. The first offer is that if you pay 5,000 naira, I will give you 2 ebooks. These are my books, and they are very good books. I poured everything into it. So some of the things I've not shared because of time are in that book. It's Companion to Writing Poetry and Write That Poem. There are 2 books. I'll give you if you pay 5,000 naira to get the 2 ebooks. Offer number 2 is I'll give you the 2 ebooks, but I am doing more, right? The 2 ebooks, I'm doing more. So I'll be working with you in a 15-day poetry challenge. In these 15 days, I will do something for you. I would I would give you what to write every day, and I will review what you've written critically. It's a promise. I will tell you what the message of what you've written. I'll tell you the strength of your poems. I'll tell you the weakness of the poems. What that will do is that if we do that for 15 days, it's like I'm not talking to you as a group, I'm talking to you individually. That is like a coaching section. It's a personal coaching section. So I am teaching you as you are doing the challenge. Do you get? So I'll critically review your work with you. I'll give you recommendations. Okay, it should be a comma here, it should be a full stop here. So it's a personalized kind of affair. And the third offer is if you take this offer, I'll give you 2 ebooks that companion to writing poetry and write that poem. I would give you I will give you June Tunes, my chapbook. You'll be in the 15 days poetry challenge. But after the 15 days poetry challenge, this is what I'll do for you. I will put all the poems, if you're in the third offer, the third group, all the poems that you've written in the 15 days with the poem of other people who will join the group, I will put it into a book and I'll create an ebook and I will give you that ebook. You can sell that book. So I want you to make your money back. You can sell that book any amount to sell the book. I do not care. There's some apps, there's some sites called the PLR sites In PLR, you can buy a book and have resale rights. So after I make the poems into an ebook, I will give you, right? So I'll design the ebook, right? Put the content, I will put your name in the comments in the book. I'll get a picture, I'll put your name there. I'll just arrange stuff for you. So it's your book. If we have like 20 people in that particular, in the third offer, so we have like how many poems? 20 times 15. Let me do the math. So you have the right to sell the book. So you can choose to give the book to people for free and say, look at my book, or you can choose to, you can choose to, you can choose to sell it. So it can be free. You can choose to sell it, right? So this is what I will do for you now. So these are the challenges. Hope you can see the price, right? Yeah. So it's 5, 10, 15,000, right? So this is what I will do for you now if you are here. If you are here on this live, this is what I can do for you now if you are here. This can only be gotten if you are on this live. So this is what I will do for you now. I would, if you take any of this offer before 12 p.m. tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. Tomorrow is Wednesday, sorry. If you take any offer before Wednesday, look at the new prices. Do a screenshot. Do a screenshot. If you take any of this offer before 12 p.m. tomorrow, instead of having it for this price, look at it again. Instead of having it for this price, look at the price. 5,000, 10,000, 15,000. You can have it for, you can have it for this price. This price. So do a screenshot. Do a screenshot. If you can pay this, so if you do a screenshot, if you click this link, it will take you to where you will pay and get this. But if you're having problems, just come to my DM and then let me know. I'll fix you up, right? So if you are paying before 12 p.m. tomorrow, I'll give you this. But I want you to take the third offer. The reason is that I want you to have a book. Let me remove this. Let me hide this message. I want you to have a book after the end of what we are doing here, right? So the third offer, I'm giving you 2 ebooks. Companion to Writing Poetry, write that poem. And I will take you on the 15 days poetry challenge. I will announce it to begin in this month, March, right? I will give you a daily prompt every day. It's a promise. And I'll give you a critical review of your poems. So I would walk you through, I will tell you the strength, the weaknesses, the message. It's a personalized coaching. So we are talking together, right? So we can have opportunity to now chat with me and then interact. What do you say so? What do you think so? And then I'll tell you, right? Because you deserve that from me. And then the last one is that at the end of the day, we'll put the books together. And if you are in the third offer, you would have a resale rights to the book. So this is the opportunity I want to give to you. I got it many years ago and it helped my poetry, and I want to give the opportunity to you. But these are the 3 offers. I don't know which one you would go for, but 12 p.m. tomorrow, instead of having it at this price, and you still want this, the prices would move back to this amount. 5,000, 10,000, 15,000. So from now to 12 p.m., any of the offers that you want to get, you can. So you can just screenshot if you're having troubles using any of the link, just come to my DM and then tell me about it, right? And then I'll fix you up, right? So you can screenshot this and then come and talk to me on my DM. I believe I've been able to help you today, all right? So let me see. Have I been able to help you? Have I been able to help you? I believe with all you've gotten, the free knowledge I've shared so far, you have everything you need to write your next poem. I believe I've been able to help you. I believe so. That this class has been very beneficial. And I would like to close by saying a big thank you to everybody who took out time to, everybody who commented, everybody who engaged, everybody who was here, right? So continue our discussion, but I want challenge. So the challenge would be a way for you to write, and I'll give you feedback. That's a way to grow. If I keep pouring knowledge to you and there is no, and you're not doing anything in return, you will not grow, right? But if you are writing and I'm giving you feedback at a close level, you skyrocket your growth. So thank you. Right, stability. Thank you. You've been very helpful. Right, thank you for your helpful comments. Ujunwa has been also wonderful. Overcomer has been wonderful. Fave, stability. I hope she has not gone away. Nigeria has not happened to her. Right, so everybody has been so great today. Yay, so I can't meet Victoria. Yes, so thank you. I am Victoria. Thank you. So we've all gotten value today. I appreciate you for your time. And please, so let me put that slide again so that you can patronize it. Please look at the slide. Yes. So yes. Yes. Akram is telling me we look forward to doing more of this with you. Yes. So this is how we can get that done. Look at the slide. Take a screenshot of your screen. So if you can pay before 12 p.m. tomorrow, you get this at this price. And I promise you, if I've shared knowledge, if I've given you anything in this live stream, it will be double, right? Because I'm working with you. I'm working with you to ensure that you grow. So this is the point where we draw the curtains. Thank you for joining me in this journey. I would like that we continue and you take the challenge with me, and I am sure the poetry will improve. And not just the poetry improving, I also want you to make money. And so if you go for the third offer, right, so you have all of this package, there is no way you would go through it, and it's a promise. So let me make another boast. If you take any of these offers and you have any regrets for taking them, just come and meet me. Just let me know. And I promise to refund you your money. Right? So I will not bring you here and then waste your time. So thank you for the warm conversations. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for sharing this space with me. I appreciate you. And I believe we'll continue. I believe you take this offer, and I'm sure we'll do more. Oh, Wakoma, thank you. He's telling me, I've attended quite a number of webinars, but this is quite unique. I'm challenged to pick up pen and resume writing. Keep penning, Bard. Keep penning. Keep sharing. Yes. So, yes, I'm glad that I was able to do so in the brief time I have been with you. Thank you. So this is where we draw the curtains. I will see you again. Please take the offer and let's spread poetry everywhere, and let's do great things with our poems. Please, before we leave, the YouTube channel, just help me subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm very grateful if you can all do that. Just help me subscribe to it. If you're not subscribed yet, some people have done so. If you're not subscribed yet to the channel, just help me go there and hit the subscribe button, and also hit the notification, right, the bell, so that when there's a free knowledge I have to share with you, I will share it with you, and then you will know when I'm going live. So thank you. Have a good night rest. Peace out. The pen of Finis. Very Destiny, you've been very wonderful tonight. Thank you. I would see you. I'm hoping to see you, Very Destiny, in the challenge, the 15-day challenge, right? I'm proposing a 15-day challenge, and I want to see you in that challenge. I hope we get to do more together. Take care. I wish you light and life. Peace out.